Hello. This is Unc Jackson, also known as Coach Jackson, and I'm here with the always illustrious Fran. And today on Hold My Merlot, we're going to be starting off with this beautiful wine called The Better Half. And now, Fran, my better half, please take it away.
Wow. Okay, Rami, you are coming on strong today. Okay, so it's called The Better Half. It's from New Zealand. Could you check and see what percentage alcohol it is by volume?
Absolutely, no problem. It's 13.5% alcohol.
Yum. It's going to get you good and trash, good and quick. So, it's called The Better Half from New Zealand. I'm going to read what it says online. It says pale yellow in color. Punchy aromas leap from the glass, lime leaf and lemongrass blend with white rose petal to provide a fragrant mix. Bright citrus flavors with a pop of guava dominate the palate. The vibrant acidity helps carry the wine on a long rolling finish with ends with a little dash of salinity. Enjoy al fresco with freshly grilled snapper or a plate of oysters and a squeeze of lime. Elitist stuff here, or pair it with the fresh herby flavors of a Tabaloa salad. Okay, great advertising for people who obviously summer at Martha's Vineyard, and where the other people go where it's super fancy. I don't know, maybe
The Hamptons?
Yeah, the Hamptons, because, wow, what the heck is a tabaleo salad? Okay, so it's pretty, it's well written, I'd say. Definitely not everybody's wine. It's about $25. Okay, so it's not cheap. But I bought it because it was super delicious and I wanted to share it with everyone. So with that, we will start with our wine tasting for The Better Half from New Zealand, all the way from the southern part of way far away from most people, where we will never visit because fuck that.
I know. Speak for yourself. I want to go see where Mordor was shot in The Lord of the Rings.
Don't give two shits. Don't even know what the Lord of the Rings is. Now, okay, so this is The Better Half. We're going to start off with the smell.
Honestly, it doesn't really smell like anything.
It does smell like lemongrass.
I get the citrus smell, but honestly, I get the smell about a 3, and nothing jumps out at me. It doesn't knock me away or wow me.
It's wowing me. I'm giving it a 4. This is a great smelling wine. It smells yummy.
We're not experts like our illustrious producer, Marty.
Right.
But what we do know is our taste.
Right.
And so I can say for me, smell isn't carrying me anywhere. It doesn't sing to me.
It's carrying me a lot of places.
But let's look at the color, okay?
The color is golden.
Yeah, it's golden. I actually like the color.
Beautiful.
I give it about a 4.5.
It's crystal clear. This is from some good water. I'm going to give the color a 5. It is superior.
Any tenant oils on top?
Yes, there's oils on top. Well, there's the 3-layer thing like the last time.
Oh, it is. Okay,
I'm giving it a 5. And for the taste, Rami, what do you give it for the color?
The color, 4.5.
Okay.
Now for the taste. Pretty good. About another 4.5.
This is a refreshing wine. It's kind of like lemon wine.
Yeah, I would say so.
There's
there's a very large citrus taste to it. Yeah. And it really jumps out at you at the end of it. I would say that it's very smooth. And it definitely would go down well with some seafood. And I agree with the back of the bottle on that one.
I agree.
I could see myself eating some oysters.
Or some catfish.
Yeah, or good salmon.
Some what's that other fish that they sell in America that's way too popular? That's like not even real fish.
Tilapia?
Yeah, that's what I would eat it with. It's pretty yummy. I'm going to give it an overall, I guess, 4, it seems like. It's very good. And highly recommend The Better Half.
Cheers. Stop.
Welcome back to Hold My Merlot. It's me, Fran.
And me, Rami. It's good to see you.
Rami's here. Ziggy, Emily, and Milo are here for post-production and tips. Those are my pets. And our super duper producer, Marty, is here as well in the background. You might hear him a little bit.
And we have Ray with post-production, the newest member of the team.
Yes, sleeping because he has to go to work all night. Okay, and we'll see him another day. So today, on Hold My Merlot, we're going to discuss the Republican convention that basically went on most of this week. But before we get to that, I really want to discuss something that's really, really, I think the liberal media has done very, very wrong. And I'm kind of exhausted of how their approach to talking about how Biden should step down has been so disrespectful. I cannot say how disappointed I am in MSNBC and CNN and how they're kind of just like lingering around like when a celebrity is about to die, and like they're kind of like posting some pictures of them and they're like, so and so has cancer, and they're like they're not doing too well, like they're like roaming around like vultures to like break the news, you know what I mean? So it's been very disrespectful, and I don't know how they expect the Democrats to win if they constantly talk about Joe in this negative light, but they constantly talk about Donald Trump, and it's like they just don't even really talk about his behavior anymore because we've kind of all just kind of learned to live with his bizarre behavior.
No, it's not.
They've
I don't think it's that.
normalized his behavior.
I don't think it's that. I think what you're seeing is the typical affirmative action for Republicans that exists in American society and American politics. Republicans are always taken seriously, even when they're completely unserious, weirdo, loser people.
Yes.
All right. Donald Trump was said to have won the last debate, even though if you actually listen to what Trump said, he
lied for the whole.
He lied.
The whole debate.
He basically said there are 50 billion Mexicans and Guatemalans attacking America right now.
50 billion. Are there even 50 billion people on this planet?
No, like
last I checked, they're not even.
I'm using hyperbole. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know, but he said some crazy number, right?
And you see, like, but being a Republican really is the easiest thing in the world. As long as you don't shit on the floor or on camera, you pretty much have won any debate. Democrats have to be held to the highest standards because everyone knows we're the actual adults and the actual serious people who want to make the world a better place, or at least make America a better place to a degree.
Thank you.
However, these Democratic donors who are trying to make Joe Biden step down from office, these people are just white supremacists in my opinion.
Okay, and let me stop you there. So I think...
And I'm not talking about the people who want Joe to step down because they don't support him on Gaza. Listen, Genocide Joe is a real thing, and I agree.
Oh, my goodness.
That man has done nothing but support Israel's genocide of the Palestinian people.
Can you stop saying that?
The truth?
Don't call him Genocide Joe. It's disrespectful. Come on.
You know what's really disrespectful? Bombing a family.
100% yes, okay? But I don't think you should say that about the President of the United States. That's just my personal opinion. I think you should keep it respectful, okay? You can say other things and you can express yourself other ways. I don't think it's good to say things like that. Okay, so basically, I really feel like with the liberal news media such as MSNBC, CNN, ABC, NBC, and all the others, you know, I think what they really need to talk about more is what Joe Biden has really done within the last almost 4 years of his administration, before they just go like, he needs to step down. It's like, yeah, we get it. He's old, okay?
But you know, like, they're not invested in that because because I agree, he's been successful.
He's a super successful president, and they don't even talk about it.
But it's for people like you, me, and like people who make less than like $500,000. He's been successful for us.
Super successful.
If you're like a major Democratic donor who makes billions or millions, like if you're like Ed Buck, who just went to prison for murdering 3 black gay men who he was having sex with,
what?
If you're like him, no, you're worried. You're complaining. You think Joe is too slow. He's too old. He can't beat Donald Trump. Here's the thing. I don't think Donald Trump is that threatening of a ticket, especially with J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance did worse than all of his freshman Senate Republican colleagues in his first election. Tim Ryan wasn't really supposed to do as well as he did against like J.D. Vance. Now Tim Ryan, bless his heart, he's a good Democratic soldier. He ran for a seat that was tough and gave up a very safe seat in Ohio so he could challenge J.D. Vance. But J.D. Vance he doesn't believe in anything. He's so fake and uncharismatic.
He's so unbelievably fake. But we will get to that. So basically, I'm just going to go through what Joe Biden has accomplished. Okay, first, low unemployment rates. Jobs are plentiful in the market.
Yeah.
Stock market is freaking soaring. It's like Dow Jones is at 40 fucking thousand.
I mean, who cares?
Are you kidding? No, are you kidding me? No. Housing market is booming. Economy has bounced back
I don't know,
since
but
COVID.
I disagree with them. Housing market.
American Rescue Plan, CHIPS Act, Infrastructure Act, Inflation Reduction Act, and money for Ukraine and Israel. The guy has done a bang-up job within the last 4 years after Donald Trump fucking dropped the ball and didn't take care of the COVID situation and had about 1 million U.S. citizens dying. So when you look at what Trump did within his 4 years, which was what?
Tax cut?
Trump Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which was tax cuts of millionaires and billionaires.
Yes.
All right. Many executive orders, none that really made any sense. Repealed part of the Affordable Care Act. And then what does he do?
Overturn Roe v. Wade.
Yeah, and then overturn Roe v. Wade, and that's pretty much it. Yeah. Like, other than that, the guy did absolutely nothing for the 4 years. Half the time he was just tweeting on the toilet seat, like threatening North Korea and threatening Iran and threatening this leader and sending bombs here and sending bombs there and just doing really bizarre things. And that's Trump's 4 years. And what are the next policies that Trump's going to put in place? I guess we'll talk about that when we talk about the convention.
We sure will. But honestly, for more information on what Trump wants to do, please read Project 2025.
Yes.
So you can learn more about the upcoming fascist dictatorship that we're going to have in this country.
Right. Okay. So I'm tired of the liberal media talking about when will Joe drop out. Y'all need to stop that shit. That shit is very aggravating, very disrespectful. Let him leave with grace, okay? He deserves that much respect. And Kamala needs to just get the ticket, tag on another Democrat, which would probably be Eric Swalwell or Tim Ryan. That's what I think. And let's move on.
But you see, that's the other thing too. The white wealthy donors who want Joe Biden to step down, all right, and they also want us to just magically skip over Kamala Harris,
which is crazy.
No, not only crazy, it's also racist and misogynist, but also it makes no strategic sense. So we're gonna skip over the vice president, who everybody already knows, so we can have a primary, even though there's only 4 months until the election. That's insane. That makes absolutely no sense. These people have no tactics, no strategy. They're just mad and entitled, all right? And I can't stand the bullshit, all right?
It's pretty crazy. So now that we're going to move on to the Republican convention that took place last week, and just some basic observations about that. I'm just going to call it a Delulu campaign. Trump is very much just... I think Trump just wants attention. Like, literally, this is why he runs for office. I don't think he cares even really about winning. He just wants people looking at him and talking about him.
I think he does care about winning, only because he wants to stay out of jail.
That's very much true, but I don't think he thinks he's going to jail. I think Trump lives in his own world where nothing bad ever really happens to him, and let's just be real. Nothing bad ever really does happen to this guy. He's living in some magical dream world where he gets away with everything. So I don't even think if he loses, he thinks he's going to jail. This guy is like, no, the Supreme Court's got me. This lady just overturned this. Like things just always happen for this bozo, and he keeps winning. He's just winning. I'm at the point where I'm like, yo, I can't explain it, but the guy's fucking winning. But I want to talk about the Republican National Convention and just the bizarre production that they put in place. So it started off, I want to say, with Kid Rock singing some song which was like heavy metal and rap. Very loud, very bad music.
And also, he's a complete fake and bozo. He always acts like he's this, rural, redneck-esque type stereotype. And he's just
so nuts.
And he's from suburbia he's from Detroit suburbs.
And he's been rich for so long. Let's just be fucking real.
Yeah, no, he sucks.
Shut the fuck
up. I hate
up.
Kid Rock.
You are such a fake. You're such a faker.
But you know what? Honestly, I'm glad that his essentially minstrel show, because that's all he is. He's a wigger. All right, he's a minstrel show.
Sure is.
All right, like
it's over because now he's over there rubbing shoulders.
No, but it's indicative of the Republican Party. There's no substance to them. All they want is power for the sake of power. Republicans have no ideas. They have no interest in making life better for any American, except like their wealthy fat cat donors. They and Kid Rock's emptiness is indicative of the emptiness in the entire party. The rot, all right?
For sure.
He's a wealthy guy trying to cosplay this redneck stereotype that he sucks. I don't even know white people who are fans of Kid Rock. That's the real truth.
I don't know any fans of Kid Rock. I think he's garbage.
Yeah.
But the Republican National Convention starts off with Kid Rock. Then they have many speakers who all come on and kiss the ring, including Peter Navarro, who literally just got out of prison. And from prison, literally got on a plane, went to the convention, and gave some wacky fucking speech about how he was up. Basically, they're all claiming that all the Trump people keep claiming that the law is being sent after them by Joe Biden's campaign. And it's like, what are you talking about? You guys were breaking the law for 4 years. That's why y'all went to jail. You did all this crazy stuff thinking you were going to have immunity.
Well, you see, that's the Republican logic. Laws only exist for certain people. Because, you see, and it really encapsulates the entirety of the Republican ideology. All right? There are laws for bad groups that don't or should not have rights, like black people, gay people, women, and etc. And then the good groups / good people, white men, wealthy people, white wealthy men. All right?
Anyone that's wealthy, basically.
They should not get the force of the legal system brought against them for any reason at all. If it happens, it's bad. And the fact that it happens shows the corruption and rot in our society, because how dare you treat us as equal as them? You know what I mean?
Right. So then we had other speakers. I think one of Trump's, daughter-in-law, Lara Trump did her little speech. I think one of Trump's sons did a speech. Hulk Hogan did some bizarre striptease. And then Le Pièce de Résistance, the man himself, comes out.
You're not gonna mention Amber Rose?
Oh God! I didn't watch the whole thing, honestly, because I didn't want to give them the ratings. I just took off the TV most of the time because I was like, I'm not giving you the time of day. I'm not watching this shit show. But yes, traitorous Amber Rose, who claims she's black, but for all intents and purposes, she's coming across as a Drake type of black person. She's just black when she needs to be to use the culture.
Listen, that Puerto Rican woman on that show, I forgot her name, and she's great. Called her out immediately and said, "You act like you're black, but you're not.
You're not black. You're not black." Amber Rose, for all intents and purposes, when you look at her, if she actually grew her hair out, like, she would just be a white girl.
You know,
she's probably like a 1/8 black or something like that.
She's from Cape Verde, or her mother's Cape Verdean. And I know now this is a lot of the Caribbean. You know, I'm not trying to pick on
Cape Verdean is Africa. That's not
the
Caribbean.
Sorry. Oh, it isn't? Never mind. I got my
right, but I think
geography fucked up.
She's very, very part black, but I think her mom's like half white and her dad is white, which basically means she's barely black. But you know, she went and did all her body up to look like a black woman. She got the attention of Kanye West. Kanye West put her on. And ever since then, she's been chasing fame, and she can't find any fame anywhere because she's a substanceless individual with nothing to really share with the general public. She has no brains. The slut walk, what the fuck was that in LA? I tried to read up on it. It was one of the stupidest things I've ever seen.
I just think it's interesting that you go from slut walk to supporting a party that literally wants to overturn abortion and get rid of divorce.
Substanceless. She's a substanceless character, and she's just chasing attention. And
no, she's chasing a bag.
I never really liked her, and now I just absolutely don't like her. I'm like, you're thrown in the trash. Like she used the culture to get somewhere. And the culture didn't really work for her because Kanye didn't want to marry her. He married Kim instead. He went and got himself a bona fide, real 100% white woman instead of her. And
it's funny you say that because I watched a video today on how Armenians had to go to court and perform whiteness in order to become white in America. And I'm not trying to disagree with you. I just thought that was funny based on the video I saw.
Yeah, because look at the Kardashians. I mean, for all intents and purposes, they're very pale. They're white. White in appearance, right? So they could
they're a little browner than the average white person.
Some of them are darker skinned, just like in any other place. But we're getting besides the point. Amber Rose, fuck you. You're just an embarrassment. Good luck with what it is that you plan on doing, because Donald Trump more than likely is going to lose, and you're going to go back to, as you have been and always will be, an irrelevant individual that is post Kanye West, a nobody. Like I said, I didn't watch most of it. I watched clips after, and then I watched the entire speech that Trump gave, because there's no way I'm watching all of those delusional characters' speeches. I'm just not gonna do it.
You saved yourself for the dessert. That was the most delusional of the speeches. It was long, boring, rambling. Trump was incoherent as shit, and I'm glad the media.
Per the usual.
No, but I'm glad the media actually focused on this. Like, a lot of the things Trump was saying in his speech made absolutely no sense. It was literally like watching Grandpa just yell at the sky about something.
Can we talk about the bizarre way he started it? So, okay, Trump had an assassination attempt. I'm just gonna say, I am absolutely anti-violence. I am not in favor of anyone doing anything that's stupid, because to me, we're better than that as people. We're better than that as a country, and trying to eliminate Donald Trump that way is only going to have the other side trying to eliminate our people. And you don't want that war, because Republicans come with way more guns and way more smoke and way more fanatics at this point. And they have actually done way more destruction. They've done way more damage to, so essentially, they're right-wing people that go to FBI headquarters in different parts of the country and just try to do terrorist attacks at this point. They're going in, they're trying to bang their cars into getting into agencies, because you can't really get into government agencies anymore. They're really kind of proofed with a lot of security because of 9/11 mostly. But there are people who try to get into offices. There are people sending death threats to Nancy Pelosi and her husband. I mean, they try to kill her husband. They try to kill Gretchen Whitmer. And this, I'm talking about the Republicans. They tried to kill Gabby Gifford during the Obama administration, and they almost killed her. She's got a bullet, I think, lodged in her head for the rest of her life. This is Mark Kelly's wife, who's, I think, a senator or a House rep now. I forgot who.
Mark Kelly's a senator.
He's a senator now, but the Republicans are really the ones that commit most of the violence.
Exactly.
Yes, there was a Democrat who shot up a baseball field full of Democrats and Republicans that almost killed Steve Scalise. That was back, I think, during the Obama administration as well. So there are Democrats that do some of these it's basically domestic terrorist acts, but I'm going to just reiterate, we're not pro any of that stuff. Donald Trump has the right to run. He's gotten the ticket for the Republican Party. He deserves his chance. I don't think he should be on the ticket, because legally I don't think he should really be running because of all of the court cases he has and the felonies. But these people have managed to get him there. I'm talking about the Republican Party in general, which is really just the Trump Party at this point. It's not really the Republican Party anymore. So we need to just deal with him as a candidate. So that being said, Donald Trump comes on stage and he talks about the assassination attempt for I don't know how long, and he literally went through the attempt almost second by second. And I found that so strange, because it kind of felt like, I get it, you're traumatized, but the way he dealt with the trauma I felt was so not manly. I just can't see most strong men, and when I say strong men, I'm talking about world leaders having an assassination attempt, surviving the assassination attempt, and then going on stage in front of a national convention and spending like 20 to 30 minutes like talking about their emotions and how they felt and how it hurt and how they were bleeding and how they got down, and then he starts saying it's only through the grace of God. Donald Trump does not believe in God. That is the weirdest thing I've ever heard.
He's was like, saved by the center of gravity due to his stomach.
Whatever it is, I'm glad he survived the assassination attempt, but he spent about 30 minutes talking about it, and I was like, okay. I'm like, most presidents would have spent at most like 5 minutes. Like, hey, it was an attempt, I survived. You know, we're going to have to move on as a country. The FBI is doing their investigation. The local police and state agencies are doing their investigation. I thank you all for all of your thoughts and prayers. But we're moving on to the next chapter because we have bigger things to do. That to me is like a way a real leader would talk about an assassination. He wouldn't be there talking about.
But Fran, you don't understand.
And the bullet went
it makes sense for him to do this.
My ear. And,
Fran, can I say something?
I turned it and it just.
Okay, Fran, can I say something?
Yes.
Because what you're critiquing is that it's a cult. Like they don't have anything else to talk about but Trump. They only live to empower Trump. The Republican Party doesn't have bigger ideas. There is no bigger project.
Oh God.
The project is to empower Trump and to create an Christian nationalist theocracy and authoritarian system. Other than that, they don't have shit else to talk about. Republicans at their core are boring, sad people.
Yes, they are.
They're uninteresting.
They're very uninteresting, and they talk about the craziest stuff. So within Trump's speech, he went through his grievances. Per the usual about, just...
And here's the thing, honestly, I don't feel bad for him.
What did he ramble
because,
on?
like real talk.
For the hour and a half, what did he talk about?
No, like real talk, I don't feel bad for him. If you're a fascist who promotes violence and then violence happens to you, sorry, bro. You were fucking with the snake, all right? The snake that you were trying to get to bite other people, and then somebody takes a shot at you. Because that little insane white boy who tried to kill him was another far-right fascist.
Which is really strange.
It's not strange. If you look at the history of fascism, fascists kill each other more than anybody.
Wow.
Usually they kill...
That's actually true, yeah.
So apparently, I'm not going to say the shooter's name because I cannot promote this stuff. Anytime these people try to do mass shootings or someone tries an assassination attempt, I feel like we make these people folk heroes almost by talking about them, releasing their name. Make it kind of like we make these people famous. And it's like, why are we talking about them? We should absolutely not talk about them. We should absolutely give them no airtime on television. We shouldn't put their picture up because to me, we're just telling them like, hey, here you go. This is you're being talked about, which is what I think it is. The kid who tried to kill Donald was like some loner who's like, some kid that like was bullied. The usual lone wolf nonsense kind of characters.
The bullying shit is bullshit because
and which is always to me just an excuse.
I know because again,
he's basically a domestic terrorist.
Like if bullying really caused mass shootings, then we'd have mass shootings every day because there would be gay and trans kids shooting up every high school ever. You know what I mean? Like fuck.
I mean, technically, we kind of already deal with that, but they're not the ones being bullied, so even the bully theory doesn't make sense here.
Yeah, thank you. You understand.
Right. So
so
what
and just to so here's the producer. So real quick, I agree with you, but let's keep it level for the sake of the show. I'm agreeing with Brock, by the way.
Right.
Just not to the extent of violence. The death violence.
So basically, the Donald Trump's speech rambled for an hour and a half. It wasn't really good. It was for me, it's always kind of bizarre. I know I use that word a lot. It was bizarre because it wasn't really a typical speech that a president gives at a Republican or Democratic convention. So we're going to talk about some of the points that Trump hit on. So one of the things he talked about was immigration. So one of the things that Trump and his VP are going to try to do is they're going to try to round up illegal immigrants and basically send them back to their home countries And they want to basically round up all illegal immigrants that are in this country and send them back home, because the claim is they're here, they're murdering people. He like named 2 or 3 Venezuelans that killed U.S. citizens. And okay, I'm just gonna say this. That is some bullshit. If you've ever watched crime mystery stories, the person that typically kills you, you know them. It is not the immigrant that's coming to your house to kill you. It's typically someone you know. It's your spouse. It's your boyfriend. It's your neighbor. It's not typically some wacky figure out of nowhere that's moved here from Venezuela or Guatemala or whatever. It's usually someone you know. It's usually someone very close to you.
Yes, very true.
So that is fucking bullshit when he says immigrants are here coming from prisons and they're killing
and also,
people.
to be frank,
it's ridiculous.
How murder works in America. America's a very segregated country. And so, like, most white people are killed by other white people. Most black people are killed by other black people.
But it's usually someone you know.
Latino people are killed by other Latino people.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, so, like, Trump is selling to this mostly white group that random people from Central America are coming here to kill them.
Yes.
And it's not true.
It's
and also,
just not true
as
at all.
somebody who has lived in a heavily like Central American immigrant community in DC, those are some of the safest streets. Because let me tell you, illegal immigrants, they don't do anything that can get them in trouble.
Exactly.
All right.
Because
I
they
haven't
don't
even
want to
seen.
deal with the courts.
Yeah.
They don't want
I
to be
haven't
sent
even
back.
seen illegal immigrants. I hate to say it like that. Because there's no way you can tell somebody's legal status in America. All right. That's bullshit.
Because Americans look like everyone.
Yes,
Hello.
thank you. But and when I was in an area that was mostly like El Salvadoran, and many of these people were immigrants, I didn't even see fights outside. Like there was no there was no crime because most people were like trying to not get any police attention. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
The worst I would see is like 2 dudes arguing in Spanish, and then they would like go away, and break up.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that was
Right.
it. Like,
So I hated that part of his speech. It was absolutely ridiculous. The next thing he was talking about, and these people that they're sending here, they're taking all the jobs, and they're crushing Americans because they're taking all the jobs. They're taking the jobs that corporations allow them to take.
Yep.
Understand that corporations are making gazillion-dollar bottom line profits because you can pay immigrants very, very little. Restaurants, bars, hotels, construction, babysitting, what else? There's so many industries where they hire illegal immigrants because they don't want to pay workers. They don't want to pay American workers. It is not the immigrants' fault that the corporations don't want to pay us.
No,
you have to fine the corporations. I'm so sorry.
Fine
the corporations.
No, you got to arrest them. Put those CEOs in jail. Treat them like everybody else. You want to do these ICE raids and round up all these illegal immigrants?
And what does an illegal immigrant look like?
Then go around and round up all these white collar workers who are hiring all these people. Okay, put them in jail right next to them if you really want to do it like that.
So exhausted of that conversation. It's like you can't have it both ways. You don't pay them fair wages. You don't pay taxes on them. You tax them anyway and steal their money. Steal their freaking money.
Because they pay into Social Security and other services
and
that they don't get.
They don't get Social Security.
Yep.
For the most part, they do not get any social benefits. And what is Trump saying? They're here. They're going to be on Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, and it's like, no, they're not.
No, it's not.
What are you talking about? You are so delusional. You're lying through your teeth. But
you know what they're really talking about, because all of this is related to whiteness, and that's the real truth. These fears about illegal immigrants are all about white supremacy. Like truly, borders. I'm gonna say something very radical to you. Borders should not exist. Borders are stupid. Okay.
I'm not gonna agree with that.
No,
that's a topic for another day.
No, it's they're all part of the same thing. Borders are man-made. All right. Borders are dumb. American borders come from a history of colonialism. Why can capital, money, go over borders easily with no problems, but people can't, all right? People are following the money. That's capitalism. The hatred of illegal immigrants in our system is truly a hatred of, the people who are, honestly, for lack of a better opportunity, most invested in capitalism. They go where the money is,
yes.
All right? They go to the low-paying jobs that Americans don't want to do. they take those jobs and then send half of their paycheck home to, like, you know, El Salvador or Honduras or Guatemala or wherever,
Right,
so that they can, like, support their families there. Those are people who are strong and they're tough, all right? And America is better off with them. If, like,
the corporations are better off making way more money with them too. I don't know what Trump is talking about.
Because it's all
I don't
about
know.
whiteness.
No, but you know the corporations are never going to allow this, by the way. This is just, to me, this is what Trump says to get into office, but he's never going to do it.
I don't think that's true.
He owns golf courses. No, he's not. He owns golf courses, hotels, construction companies, and bars and restaurants within those industries.
No, but Fran,
he is not getting rid of illegal immigrants.
But Fran,
it's going to cut into his
this
bottom
man
line.
has shown us that, one, he already tried to ban Muslims from coming to America. All right, Trump Trump literally put, like, children in cages, okay, on the border of Texas. Now, I think that may have started under Obama. I don't know, but Trump exacerbated that policy. Okay, he's like, Trump has shown he has no problem rounding up illegal immigrants. Like, that's the thing. Like, Trump will do that. He does not care. All right.
Right.
Trump will do anything. He doesn't give a fuck. All right. And so, for lack of a better term, Trump's inability to give a fuck actually is probably, like, the worst thing about him, because that means he'll just do anything. He doesn't really have any policy positions on anything, really.
Not really.
Outside of let him be corrupt and do whatever the fuck he wants to do. And so, like, what I'm trying to say is that, truly, Democrats, okay, are dumb right now on this topic. Joe Biden is trying to be the meanest guy towards illegal immigration and migrant workers and the like, and it's not paying off for him. Because you know what? Your average American, all right, won't reward Democrats for being almost as bad as Republicans on illegal immigrants and migrants. They're going to reward Republicans. Democrats will never win trying to be red light or being pink. You got to be blue. Democrats need to offer an alternative vision of our immigration system. Democrats say, if you put us in power, we'll make it as easy as possible for people to legally come to this country so that they can come here and find opportunities and build themselves up. We want to create a stronger America, and immigrants are our path forward towards that stronger America.
And I'm just going to second on that and say, just legalize everybody here. I'm exhausted of this conversation.
I agree.
If people are here and they're working, they have a place to live, they got a car, they're driving, they're mobile, they're part of the economic engine already, why are you rounding them up? Florida is going to be a failed state because they did that.
Yes.
They sent a lot of immigrants packing, and they are not doing very well.
Agriculture, hotels, all of them falling apart in Florida.
They're not doing very well, and they're going to continue to not do very well because we've let the system go on like this for too long. The system depends on illegal immigrants to be here, to work these low-paying, shitty fucking jobs, and they come here and they gladly do it for years and years and years. These are the most loyal workers, and now you wanna take away that from them? Well, it's been going on for too long. We can't stop it. We have to figure out to work our way through it, you know? Legalize everybody that's here, and then, I don't know, then maybe create new policies on how many more people you're going to let.
Well, you know, they say racism is expensive, and, you know, like, the white man loves paying that tab for racism. No matter how much it costs him, he will pay that tab with a smile, even though he lost his entire wallet.
I don't know what that means, but I'm gonna move along to some of the false statements that Trump made during his speech, because he made plenty. He said during his presidency we had the best economy in the world, in the history of the world, in the history of our country, in the history of history, and the history of history of histories. Like, this guy, whenever he exaggerates, his exaggerations are beyond ridiculous. The economy was not booming under Trump. The economy was doing well, but it wasn't the best economy. It was not the Reagan years. Okay, that's when the economy in this country was booming, when Wall Street was alive and
no, but
kicking.
hold on. Can we push back on this?
Yeah.
Because just because wealthy people are doing better doesn't mean that everybody else is doing better.
100%.
The stock market is bullshit. The stock market is a game. And only, like, what, 1% of Americans own 90% of the stock or something like that?
But it wasn't the best economy America has seen.
No,
let's just be real. Not by a long shot. Trump came in after Obama basically rescued the country from freaking bottoming out and collapsing. And he got a pretty smooth economy with jobs numbers growing. And he just didn't know what to do, so he created a bunch of weird... what is it, Muslim ban and this ban and that ban and all these stupid executive orders that were totally retarded. And then
Hey, let's not say that word on this show.
Okay, they were totally bad. And then in the end, COVID came and he was like, it's going to go away. There's 5 people that have it, and then it's going to be 2, and then it's going to go down to 0. Then 1 million people died. Then the economy crashed, and people lost their jobs. And let's be real, if you work in the restaurant industry, which very many people depend on because they work for tips, these industries are still not doing very well. The workers are still getting stiffed. It is not the same since COVID. A lot of people are still struggling since then. But Trump's saying, oh, I had the best economy. And it's like, no, you didn't. That's not even close to true. And everything he talked about where, like, there's a problem, he's like, I'm going to solve it in day 1. I'll solve it the first week. It's like, oh, the problem with the Ukraine? Oh, I'm going to call Putin, and on day 1, the war is going to end. And I'm not saying he said that exactly, but it's like he kept
He pretty much said that.
He kept saying things like that. Oh, the war in Israel? Oh, I'm going to call Netanyahu, and week 1, it's going to be over. It's going to be solved quickly. It's going to be quickly. Everything's going to be solved very, very quickly. Very fast, very speedy. And every time I heard him say something like that, I'm like, dude, that's not the way anything is done in government. Nothing as big as a war between 2 countries, right? Basically facing at this point, it just looks like mass, to me, it looks like the West and the East are fighting, and we're breaking off into different sections. And basically, we're aligning with, one part is going to align with China and Russia, and one part is going to align with the Western countries, which is America and Western Europe. And to me, that's what's happening. So the Ukraine, I think, is in the middle of that kind of battle, and they're going to battle it out. And I think whoever wins, I guess, wins the next, I don't know, chapter in world history. Not sure. But here he goes, as soon as I get in, it's going to be solved on day 1. It's like, oh yeah, all of that going on is going to be solved on day 1 or week 1. There's just no way. He talks about things so simplistically, and the crowd is just cheering, and some of them were crying, and I was like, what is wrong with these people? There's no way they could believe something so complex as the war between the Ukraine and Russia can be solved that quickly, or anything at all on a high stakes presidential level with big problems. Big problems aren't solved very quickly. They're just not. So let me just go through also the rest of the claims that were just crazy.
Well, I mean, we got to wrap this up. I got to leave in a few minutes.
Oh, okay, no problem. So he says crime rate is going up.
That's not true.
All right, in most states, crime rate is going down. Crime rate overall in the United States has been going down. Go online, find FBI statistics. We can't do that for you, right? He said that the Biden administration is going to raise taxes on everyone. I don't know where he found that information. I know that if Trump gets in, he's going to continue the Tax Cuts and Jobs Acts and continue.
But they're a tax increase on anybody who isn't wealthy. That's the thing. Those Republican tax cuts, they pay for the tax cuts for the wealthy by just raising the taxes on everybody else. And you don't even get the social services. So you're indirectly paying more because you're not getting as much as you used to.
Right. So he said Democrats are going to destroy Social Security and Medicare. Nah. That is exactly what they're trying to do, which...
And I think that's their least... I think that's also their least effective lie. Because time and time has shown again that, like...
trying to get rid of Social Security.
Older Americans, like senior citizens, they obviously aren't stupid. They know who's trying to get rid of Social Security. That's why Republicans lost a ton in 2006 and 2008 when they tried to privatize Social Security, and they got destroyed in the midterm elections. So, yeah.
So then he claimed that under his administration there were all these regulation cuts. Okay, I work in government. I'm just going to tell you, it's very, very hard to reverse regulations. It takes years and years and years and years.
And the regulations
There's
that he's
no way they cut that many regulations.
and the regulations that he's cuts only hinder our ability to live well. Clean air, clean water. Like under Trump now, companies can just dump wherever the fuck they want into any body of water. Like, you're only killing yourself by voting Republican. It's a death cult. It's not a political party. They don't believe in anything other than power. It truly is one of the evilest organizations ever developed in like modern history. The Republican Party is a terrorist threat to the United States. All right, like Republicans are functionally like evil. All right, and we need to stop them.
And then he talked about the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan being very embarrassing.
So we should have just kept people in Afghanistan?
No, but that, I believe, actually... Okay, the way the U.S. withdrew from Afghanistan so quickly, I believe, do not quote me, go online, Google it, Trump wanted to end the war in Afghanistan, but didn't really have a plan. And when Joe Biden got into office and they had to scramble to, number one, get the economy back together amongst a myriad of other things that the Trump administration didn't pay any attention to, the other thing that they had to also kind of navigate was exiting Afghanistan with some crazy Trump plan that didn't really make any sense. In the end, they had to withdraw from Afghanistan quickly, simply with, I think, a Trump plan that didn't work. The way that we exited Afghanistan, yes, it was a little embarrassing, but it's like, but I think that was Trump's plan that they followed.
And you know what? Honestly, real talk, the real embarrassment is invading Afghanistan in the first place. All right, the Taliban was going to give up Saddam. I mean, not Saddam. The Taliban was going to give up Osama, and said like we don't have to fight. And the U.S. wanted to fight and just like show that it was the superpower anyway, and all we did was waste a ton of money. And so some of the Marines who died in that ISIS car bomb when they attacked the loading site where people were trying to escape Afghanistan on, and 13 Marines were killed. And then the U.S. And Turkish forces that were guarding the loading site opened fire on the crowd, and then people were killed during that. Like, some of those U.S. Marines who died, they weren't even born when the U.S. invaded Afghanistan, and they still were fighting in that war. So honestly, I don't here's the thing. Going into Afghanistan and how it turned out was embarrassing to begin with. The embarrassment was just icing on the embarrassment cake. You know what I mean? Like, in my opinion, I'm glad that was one of the best things Joe Biden did. We should have left Afghanistan years ago. Now, do we support the Afghani people who helped the U.S. and American forces there by, serving as translators and no, we left those people behind to die, and that's awful. And Joe Biden needs to answer for that. But
he's not.
Honestly, we should have left Afghanistan years ago. Now Afghanistan is under the Taliban's control, and the Taliban can't even really control the entire country because they're fighting a war with ISIS there. So that is now their problem.
Indeed. So I mean, all right, we're gonna wrap things up because Rami has things to do today. Hopefully it's been a good episode for everyone. I hope we inform people on what kind of things that are going on, but you need to read up on
yes, please do
Project 2025, which is basically what the Republican convention did not mention and did not talk about, and they're basically all kind of backpedaling and saying that they don't believe in the agenda from Project 2025.
Hey men, if you really hate no-fault divorce, I hope you like rat poison in your coffee. All right, ask your grandfather about that. All right, seriously, when women have no options, they'll just do that. All right, and I don't disagree with women. If you're in an awful, terrible, abusive marriage, and rat poison is the only way that you get on out of there, then please do what you have to do. But I'm just saying, man, divorce is much easier than many other options. So if you're one of these losers out here, like J.D. Vance, who's anti no-fault divorce, then I would just check my coffee every morning. That's all I have to say.
Okay, I wish I knew what that was about, but we could talk about that another day.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious.
Tell me, what is it about? What's no-fault divorce mean?
No-fault divorce? Women and men can just divorce each other with no consequences. Before no-fault divorce, it was in the 1950s America, it was almost impossible for a woman to get divorced unless it was openly abusive. And then you have to remember, there was abuse by 1950s standards. So he had to shoot you with a tank. in order for it to be labeled abusive. You know what I mean? Like,
Wow, that's crazy. Okay, got it. So basically, if you don't know what Project 2025 is, that's basically the plan that the Republican Party has for the American people moving forward if they win. Can I have some, please, too?
gotcha, no problem.
And basically, this to me it's just as rotten as Paul Ryan and Mitt Romney's plan to basically gut and kill Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, which is the reason why they couldn't beat Obama. You can't gut these quote unquote, which Republicans like to call entitlements. These are not entitlements. We pay into the system to get these benefits.
Very true.
When we're older and or we get sick and or we get disabled. So
biggest scam in the world.
It's the biggest scam in the world. So with Project 2025, I'm going to give you some of the things that they want to do. Rami mentioned getting rid of no fault divorce. They want the country to be a Christian nationalist country. So basically, you're all going to have to convert to Christianity. So no more other religions. That's what it sounds like to me, which is basically insane for 2020.
No more public schools. They're going to get rid of the Department of Education.
Right.
And so now you have to pay all your money to a charter school or a religious school,
Right.
or most likely both, or you'll have to be homeschooled.
Or you're not going to go to school at all because it's not important.
America will be a superpower with no functioning public education system.
All right, and
we'll be just like a medieval country,
right?
And we will fall apart.
Okay, so basically, education, ta-ta, and not to say that's a topic for another day. American public school system is it's also an ick situation going on, but at least it's there and it's in place, and children are afforded an opportunity to get a free education every single day, all year round. But they want also to
be able to fire anybody.
Yeah, so they want to change the government to basically only have people that are going to follow the agenda of the Trump administration. The way the government works right now is typically the president does set an agenda, right, and does tell you what kind of policies he wants to put in place, but it's really, really hard to change certain things within government, and that is for a reason. You don't want to make drastic changes within government because you don't want to make drastic changes in government because it's a big functioning organization that literally controls so much of the country. If you do a drastic change where now you're just hiring and firing everybody, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. The government's not going to function, essentially, because, like, okay, so when I go into an agency, like when I first get a job, I have to be taught, like, what part of the wheel I am in, and I only do something very, very specific within one part of an entity, within one part of the government, right? So no one can really, really know how everything works, and I think that's by design, so that no one can really do corrupt things. You're only doing one part of what you're being told to do. Well, I guess it's just me, y'all. We're gonna try to make this quick and short. Ziggy, come here. Come be on the show. Come be my co-host. So, on Project 2025, they're going to try to repeal the Affordable Care Act, which is basically an arm of, it's basically a new agency that has afforded very many people not to go into bankruptcy over medical bills, which is what used to happen to a lot of people. So Obama, former President Obama put into place with President Joe Biden and his administration the Affordable Care Act, which created laws for basically the medical industry and hospitals and those types of institutions not to be able to take advantage of patients, and basically it's basically a patient's bill of rights. And if you've ever gone to the hospital because of an emergency prior to the ACA, God bless you. There are people who have gotten out of hospitals, and basically just their whole lives have collapsed because they cannot pay these gigantic medical bills for emergency operations. The ACA essentially stopped hospitals and other institutions from bilking citizens from medical bills. So they're going to try to repeal that once again. Let's see. We talked about the immigration policy that they're going to do. Basically, build a wall and keep all the immigrants out and round up all the immigrants and send them back to their home countries. One of the most racist things that I think Americans don't really realize, that even the liberal media does, is every single time they talk about illegal immigrants, they typically show Hispanics. And it is thoroughly disrespectful to just show Hispanics on the southern border coming into the country. Yes, and I know they are one of the biggest groups of people that enter into the country illegally. However, there are illegal immigrants in this country that are not from south of the border of the United States. They're illegal immigrants from Canada. They're illegal immigrants in this country from Europe. They're illegal immigrants from the Caribbean and other countries. Illegal immigrants from Asia and China and Taiwan and all these other places. Anywhere where there's basically terrible economies, they're trying to make it here. And we can't keep showing video of people crossing in from the border at the bottom, coming into Texas and the other border states like California, I think Nevada, and maybe New Mexico. I forgot. Maybe don't quote me. But those are the states I think that border border Mexico going down to Central and South America. There are other groups of people here that are not legal, and we don't talk about that. And I just want to know, how would you round up illegal immigrants if this is America, where basically an American could look like anyone? If we're gonna claim to be, e pluribus unum, of many we are one, and anyone can be American, then how are we gonna find out who's illegal? Are we going to have people walking around with their citizenship paperwork and passports? Like, how is that even going to happen? We're talking next level weird, I don't even know what to call it. I can't even believe they would even think of doing something like that. They're also going to obviously roll back LGBTQ rights. Trump talked about not having especially trans men in sports, trans women in sports, and of course in general they're going to they always talk about making sure you can't mutilate your children because if they don't want children to be able to transition if they would like to transition. Personally, I think that's a non-issue. That is a family matters issue. That's for people within their own individual families to make decisions like that. I don't think the government has any right to infiltrate and tell people what they can and can't do within their own household if they're paying for everything. The only thing I'll kind of interject and say is I do believe that if a child does transition and in the end feels like they were coerced by maybe their doctors and their parents to do it, and they feel like they were wronged and they weren't given the right information and they made the wrong decision and in the end they regret it, I do believe that if an adult believes that they were tricked as a child into doing something like that, because it's so drastic and irreversible, I do believe that there should be ramifications for the institutions and the parents that made those decisions if it is found that they coerced a child into doing something like that. But in general, I think it's a family matters thing. I don't believe it's a real conversation that the general public needs to really be involved in. That's for mom, dad, and their kid. I don't want to hear about it, just like I don't want to hear about abortions. And you know they're going to do a total ban on abortions. Good luck trying to get one in the United States if they get in. They're going to try to roll back DEI, which is basically like a enforcement of a law that forces companies to be more inclusive with affirmative action and things like that. They're going to try to make sure that that no longer exists. So, you know, when companies put in things like, you know, a diversity and inclusive plans, it's typically because they don't have enough diversity within their institution and within their organization. And understand that having diversity and inclusion is good for any organization or any institution if you want to be modern, if you want to be relevant. You can't have, you shouldn't have a company that doesn't have a little bit of everybody in there. And I'm not saying you have to have like every single group at a percentage rate, but that there needs to be some form of diversity within your culture if within your organization. If you want it to be really successful, you're missing out on ideas and you're missing out on other people and other cultures if you want to be exclusively hiring from certain groups. And in this case, I think they just want to make a lot of institutions and, you know, maybe government offices just more white. And like I said, me, Rami, Marty, we work within government. Most of our coworkers are already white. So I don't know where this diversity and inclusion initiative that they're trying to repeal so badly is even talking about. Most of our division directors are white. Most of the heads of the agencies are white. Most of the secretaries of governments our government is white. Most of the Senate is mostly all white men. The most diverse institution that we probably have in America is probably the House of Representatives. The rest of the institutions, I mean, I couldn't give you the numbers per agency, but they're mostly run by white Americans. And yes, there are Black and Hispanics that work within there as well, but I don't know what they're talking about with that. Regulatory rollbacks, they're going to do that for the oil industry. They're going to change trade policies and basically force China to say what Trump is saying is basically pay their fair share. I don't know how that's going to work. Good luck. They're going to get rid of climate change policy. And let's see. And I know there's some really strange thing too where they said that they wanted to ban pornography in 2025. That's what they want to do. I just can't even believe that is something that they thought about putting within a manual on an instruction of how a 2025 moving forward big $17 trillion economy even needs to focus on. One of the things I was talking to one of my friends about is America is a very interesting country. Okay, I've been here since I was 12 years old. And one of the things I would tell you is I'm 44 now. Americans are very innovative people. And the way the economy works here, it's on hyper-capitalism. And basically, you can make money doing just about anything. And any industry that's making a lot of money, it's really, really hard to disrupt that industry in general. So, I'm not trying to go into the money and the facts about the pornography industry. I don't know how many billions of dollars they bring in every year. It's going to be very, very hard for that particular part of the economy to just stop. And I'm not like, you know, I don't want to go too much into that. But in general, in America, if you have an idea and it can make money, you can make money here. You can make money doing anything that you can sell to anyone if you can convince enough people that it's something worth buying. And that is the magic within America. And, you know, these plans within 2025 and, you know, Trump's plan on rounding up immigrants, it's not going to move this economy anywhere. If anything, it's going to crash the economy. Rounding up immigrants and sending them back to their home countries is not going to do anything for this economy. For very, 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 very many years, we as a nation have been allowing people to come in here illegally and work within certain industries. And those industries now depend on these low-wage workers with no papers to be able to fulfill their bottom lines. If you take them out of the economy, I think certain economies just are not going to do well for a very long time. I don't know what restaurant industries would do if they rounded up all the illegal immigrants. Who's going to cook our food? Hello? You know, who's making all the food that's coming to Grubhub freaking 24/7? Who's going to do that? Who's going to be taking care of our kids? Who's building all these homes in the construction business? Who's fixing all the things in our homes when they break down? Who's coming to your house to put together your things? Like, I ordered a bed the other day, and 3 very nice gentlemen, I don't know where they're from, but they're definitely us from south of the border. They were here speaking Spanish the whole time. They put my bed together. It was a brand new queen size bed in 30 minutes, and I couldn't even believe how quickly they came into my apartment and put together this bed. It was unbelievably amazing. But who's coming to work that quickly and that fast and that efficiently for very, very little? It was 3 guys, and I think I paid a total of $200 to the company to pay them. I don't even know what they paid them out of that $200 that I paid them to deliver and assemble the bed. The things that Trump wants to do, I don't think really makes any sense for any of us. The abortion ban, rolling back deregulations, rolling back, research on climate change, or like things like climate initiatives that we have going. If you're watching weather patterns anywhere, this week we almost melted, me and Ziggy. Ziggy, come here. Me and Ziggy almost melted. It was so hot. The climate change is absolutely real. Toronto basically flooded. Other parts of the country flooded. I think there's tornadoes like all the time. Florida has had so many hurricanes that basically no insurance is insuring homes now, pretty much. There's a lot of things going on, and I just don't think the Republican Party, led by, Trump, has really any plans to effectively move this country forward. And I don't think it's a good idea, I don't think it's a good idea to re-elect him as the 47th president of the United States. I'll go back to the original topic that we started off with, the liberals trying to push out Joe Biden. I feel very, very frustrated with MSNBC, CNN, ABC, NBC, on how much time they spend talking about, how Biden should drop out. I feel like they're not doing it with grace and dignity. They're being very disrespectful. They're being very ageist too. It's just not cool. I'm not really liking it. I'm like, this guy deserves way more respect. They don't need to keep, egging him, like constantly asking when he's going to step down. He will step down when he needs to. All the right people are coming out and saying that they want him to step down. So, I mean, eventually I think he is going to step down, but we have to stop obsessively talking so negatively about him, while we just, watch Donald Trump for like 90 minutes talk about madness at the Republican convention with his 0 plans and 0 policies that make any sense for the future of this country to just, keep going. Well, I'm going to end on that note. I'm going to say I hope that, the Democrats get it together and figure out what we're doing moving forward, whether it's with Joe or with Kamala. Either way, I'm voting for Joe Biden, even if he's rolled in on a casket. I don't care. I'll be voting for Kamala if she comes in and comes through. I think everybody should be like that. The other side is going to vote for Trump, whether he, it doesn't matter what he does. This guy is untouchable. He's now twice impeached, President, now with 34 felonies, he's basically a convicted felon running for the highest office in the country. Insanity. Just gonna say, Democrats, do better. Let's give President Joe Biden, some breathing space, and let's talk less about Donald Trump, because at this point I'm ready to just take off my television and not watch any of this shit show until November 6th, 2024. Peace out.